Hello and welcome back to Payday 2 101. Today we're on to the General Ghost build. This build is for new players to test the Ghost playstyle and get a feel for it to see if it's something they'd enjoy and would like to move on to a more advanced build. This will be all about stealth skills as well as being effective as a ghost in loud combat, and this will give you the full Ghost experience. So before we get onto the Ghost tree, because that's what we have the most in, let's take over the others. Take over, look over. Endurance aced, Cable Guy aced, pretty basic stuff. For Enforcer we of course have Transporter aced, for Technician we have Nerves of Steel aced, and for Fugitive we actually have a decent amount in it, so I'll go over this stuff. We have Thick Skin aced, as we will actually be using a Ballistic Vest. This is not a hardcore dodge build. I will be getting into Death Wish dodge builds later on in this series, so you will likely be using a light Ballistics Vest. We have Basic Hidden Blade, just gives you a little bit more concealment with your melee weapons that will come in handy a little bit. We have Duck and Cover aced, so you have that extra dodge chance while crouching. Dodge chance will be very important for you because you are not a particularly tanky character. We have Basic Sixth Sense. Now, no one really knows how useful this is yet. It's a bit spotty, but it is a fun thing to try out, and as part of the Ghost experience of standing still for 3.5 seconds in stealth, starts to highlight people around you in a 10-meter radius. We don't have this aced because picking up items while in casing mode only really can happen in 1 or 2 missions. Not that useful. We do have aced Run and Gun though. We have Basic of course for the movement speed, which is very nice, and we have aced, so your movement speed is unhindered while using Steel Sight. This won't come in handy super often for you as a ghost, but it will happen sometimes. We also have Basic Windstone Wolf, as it gives you an extra body bag that you're carrying that brings you up to 2. Now we go into the Ghost tree here. We take all the basic stuff that's in all of the builds, so Cat Burglar Basic, Sprinter aced, Fast Hands aced, Shinobi Basic. Next we have Chameleon Basic, so you can mark guards in casing mode, and your concealment is down 25%. This is quite nice actually. We have Cleaner aced, so that you deal 5% more damage against specials. Not big, but it's nice. You can buy body bags for 3 extra body bags that the crew can share, and an extra body bag in your inventory. This means you're carrying 3 body bags alone. Very, very useful. You have Basic SMG Specialist, so you can reload your SMG much faster. That's more time fighting and less time reloading, which is nice. We have Aced Martial Arts. This is one you don't often see. 50% more likely to knock down an enemy with a melee strike for your first point, which I find to be very useful if you use something like, say, a baseball bat, swings fast, has high knockdown on uncharged shots. You have a good chance of knocking down an enemy with this. On Ace, you take 50% less damage from all melee attacks. Although it doesn't happen often, you know if you've ever been hit by a melee attack, getting punched in this game hurts. It often wipes out all of your armor and a lot of your health while throwing your camera off. This might be what you need to make sure you don't go down from getting punched. ECM Specialist, you now have 2 ECMs, they last 25% longer, bringing them up from 20 seconds to 25 seconds, and they delay pager response. If you put down a jammer before the pager starts, the pager can only start when the ECM has stopped. This gives you a lot more leeway to rush things like banks. Next we have ECM Overdrive aced, so we're up to 30 seconds on an ECM now, and an ECM jammer can be used to open certain doors. When it says certain doors, it means electronic doors. This is also very useful in many heists. We have Lock-Picking Expert, so not only do you pick locks 50% faster, but in 45 seconds you can pick the lock silently on a safe, as long as it's not a Titan safe. Very, very useful, much faster than a drill, and it's completely silent. The only negative is that you need to be sitting there picking it the whole time. You can't be fighting during it. We also have the Professional aced. This is a spotty one, but it gives you some of the Ghost experience. With this aced, your silenced weapons will have 50% more stability and accuracy, your snap to zoom will be doubled, and 15% more chance to pierce enemy armor with silenced weapons, which is nice and stacks with our perk deck. For ECM feedback, we also have the ability of ECM feedback, which means that we can disable temporarily enemies within a radius with a 50 to 100% chance to incapacitate them every 1.5 seconds for the duration of your ECM. You put down an ECM and you click the button again to interact with it, and it'll start its feedback. So you can place them around the stage and then set off their feedback when you feel like you need it, as long as you're able to reach that ECM. Because of this patch, if you have it aced, then every 4 minutes it'll recharge itself and you can use it again, bringing it from a powerful skill to a very powerful skill. This is incredibly useful and is why you'll often bring ECMs on a loud mission. You also take Camera Loop Basic, you only need Basic. It allows you to loop a camera that you're able to reach, temporarily basically disabling it. It's useful, but you don't need to ace it. The 10-second extra you get for ace doesn't really come in handy on any given mission. You can only loop one camera at a time across your entire crew though, so keep that in mind. Over on the perk deck, we have the Rogue perk deck, so not counting every other skill as they are generic ones, 10% extra dodge chance. We're 15% less likely to be targeted while near other crew members, an additional 10% bringing us to 20, an additional 10 bringing us to 30, and Killer Instinct, all of your weapons have a 25% chance to pierce armor. If you're using a silenced weapon, this will stack with that extra 15, which will be very, very nice, bringing you up to, I believe, 40. Yeah, bringing you to 40 pierce chance on silenced weapons, meaning that even if they're missing a little bit of damage, they're still quite useful. Also, time between swapping your guns is reduced by 80%. That's actually really huge, where you switch weapons almost instantly. It's a lot faster than reloading, actually. And I don't often go into the armor on this, but if you see the lightweight ballistics vest, and I know it says here not 100% accurate, but I've looked into it, it's pretty accurate, you will still have a bit of dodge chance, even when you're crouching, because of our Fugitive perks, and quite a bit while sprinting. So you retain quite a bit of dodge chance. I know it's only 10 or 35 or 25 depending on your situation, but you will be dodging a surprising amount of bullets, while still retaining a little bit of armor. So, next onto the weapons. First, for the primaries for the Ghost, we have a slightly modified Loudcar 4. Once again, one of the greatest primary weapons. Now, I've actually slightly modified this from the ones I used in previous build videos entirely for the Ghost. It has one little difference that is quite noticeable for if you have your skills set up like I showed before. So we have the long barrel, and instead of the competitor's compensator, we do have the bigger the better suppressor. And although the suppressor is of course not as good in loud as the competitor's compensator generally is, when you have either Silent Killer or the Professional aced, this can become better in certain ways. It'll help give you that Ghost experience. Of course, for the rest of things, we have no custom Gazelle Grip, Military Laser Module, Pro or Rubber Grip, Car Quad Stack Mag, Speculator Sight, War-Torn Stock, and Exotique Receiver. And you get this incredibly silly but very effective gun. It looks a little weird. But that's really it for the primaries for the Ghost. Yeah, you could use the Rattlesnake or R93 like I talk about in the other videos, but it's not quite as tailor-made for the Ghost. Really, you should only be taking one of those snipers as the Ghost with this build, especially if you're new, if no one else on the team can really cover that. So on to the secondaries, we of course have our two main SMGs, the Cobus 90 and the Cobra. To go over both of them, we have the long barrel, the fire breather nozzle, auto fire, no gadget, although you could put a military laser module if you'd like, if it doesn't bother you too much, and the speculator sight. You come out with the higher damage but not as ammo efficient of the two SMGs. If you want the more ammo-efficient version, we can take the Cobra submachine gun with the competitor's compensator, the pocket laser, or any kind of laser you'd like, the wooden grip, extended mag, speculator sight, and the unfolded stock. This one's much more ammo-efficient, although has less stopping power. Make sure you aim for the head. That's it for this episode of Payday 2 101. On the next episode, we'll likely be going on to the general Fugitive build, much awaited. If you're interested in this series and would like to watch more, a link to the playlist will both be on screen as well as in the description. This series will be ever updating as new patches change the game, so I'll keep you guys up to date. If you're looking for some teammates to play with, why not join on my Steam group linked in the description. And if you want to keep up with me, I have my Facebook fan page linked down there as well. Feel free to request I talk about anything in the game as long as I don't already have a video on it in the playlist, and I look forward to seeing everyone's feedback. If you want to see me play some more Payday 2, click the video on the left to check out my series Payday 2 A Journey. And if you want to see a different game, the video on the right is my newest Let's Play. That's it for this video, thank you all for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.